Chadsey Condon Community Organization is a community organization that's filled with residents and stakeholders that are passionate about the Chadsey Condon area, and they're committed to making sure that we have children in our neighborhood that are safe, healthy, educated, and prepared for adulthood. The future of the Chadsey Condon community doesn't belong to any one person. We all want to see a community where, again, our children are safe. It's a walkable community where people can shop, work, and just live and be happy, that there's jobs, there's investment brought back into the community, and that it's a place that everyone that lives there, everyone that visits there is happy to be there, but the people, most importantly, that live there, they're happy and proud to call it home.
The process of gardening is like, well, first you like build a flower bed and you shovel up the ground, like you dig up the ground and you flip over the grass so it can decompose, and then you plant your flower, and it should say on the package how much, like how deep you should plant it and how far apart you should plant it, and it shows you how much you should water it, and you just keep up with that, and then you should get a nice plant, a nice garden going. I think I did learn enough to start my own garden, because like, say if there's like a power outage and like you have no power for like a week or two, you won't have any food, and like you can, you know, get your food out of your garden and then you can eat that way. It's a great way to beautify the community and start a new change in the community. I think the Chadsey Condon program is really great because it helped me learn a few things about gardening, and it helped me like become a better person. Like, I beautified the community, and we also got a chance to help an elderly lady with her home and beautify her home, and it really put a smile on her face, which also put a smile on my face that I got a chance to help someone of age and, you know, give back to the community.
After planting the new trees, it's very important that you keep them watered. We water them about two times a day. This is an apple tree. This is the Granny Smith.
Well, this year I learned a lot. One of the main things I learned that making trenches around a garden helps the plants grow more because it soaks in more water. There are different types of plants that you plant on different types of seasons, not always when it's cold, it's not always when it's hot. We learned what the good bugs and bad bugs were for the plants, to see which ones to keep and which ones to take out. When to use fertilizer and when not to use it, or which bugs we could put in the plants so we don't have to use fertilizer. Doing this helps the community a lot, and we feel people thank us, and we feel like we've made a change in the community. So it's community art, and community art starts with dialogue with the community. So the first stage in the process is we had kids from this area, from the Chadsey Condon area, the Chadsey Condon North Southwest Detroit community. They drove around, we chose different areas, and first thing we did was canvass those different areas. So the youth generated a survey, and they took that survey, they went door to door. We asked the community questions, like the neighborhood, like what do you know about your background? What generation are you? Or what their immigration stories were, what their histories were, where they come from. We used that information to do some research, went online, printed some photos, and that gives us more ideas to draw. We've been looking for abandoned buildings that are like in need of repair. Then we cleaned up the properties.
We clean up the yards if necessary, and then we board up the windows.
And after the properties are cleaned up, we put art on them. And if they need to be boarded up, we boarded them up. So, do you feel like we have enough here, or do you think we need to go back to consult more? We've already done it twice.
Yeah, I think a third time might be people be like,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely like a lot of stuff here, a lot of different ideas. We don't have pictures of all these, so maybe if we gotta kind of divide up duties and talk about, send some people back to bridging to get these pictures printed.
So far, we completed at least 3 blocks.
I'll say overall, the response from the community has been enormously strong. I think Southwest Detroit generally has a really strong art culture, so people in this area love to see art.
People come around, they're like, say good job, thank us.
Yeah, like, honestly, over the course of this project, maybe even 50, 60, 70 people have come up to us and said, thank you, you're doing a great job, or just, honking as they drive by, thumbs up, so we're definitely getting respect from the community for that. I think one of the big moments for me was I was coming home from work, and one of the houses that we had done, the neighbors were trimming the bushes and the hedges to make sure that the picture could be seen, because it was important.
I think Chadsey Condon is really good to help bring community together.
It's a good summer job for the youth, to get them money and whatever they need, and at the same time helping the community in a lot of ways.
Violence is an act to where you're trying to hurt someone.
It's when someone is killed or fighting.
Any act of harm.
A harmful act or something people do to hurt other people.
Violence is just deadly weapons, fighting, sexual harassment, all this bad stuff is happening.
Domestic violence is when you harm somebody or harm one of your spouses.
Someone is getting beat on.
An argument between 2 or more people.
A conflict between people. It could be friends, it could be spouses.
Someone in a relationship that is controlled.
One of them hits or beats or, harasses the other. It was my friend, and she and her parents, they used to, argue. And she would come over at my house, spend the night because they were, they would, go back and forth, hit each other, throw things, cuss each other out. And sometimes she would even try to get into the middle of it, and, she would end up getting hurt too.
Yeah, when I was younger, my mom and dad, they used to, fight. I felt powerless because I couldn't help my mom. And my dad, he used to hit her and stuff. I didn't like it. And once I got older, I started speaking up. And now, they don't do it anymore. They argue, but I'm just letting them fight because now I had to get in it because I don't like that. I definitely look at it different because a man shouldn't hit a woman, no matter what she does, try to walk away. Women, they It might provoke you sometimes, but just walk away. It's not worth it. It's not.
Gun violence is when people are shooting at each other.
Someone's in the act of trying to shoot someone else.
Firing guns as a threatening action.
A person harms another human being with a gun.
When you hear somebody say gun violence, it means they have firearms to threaten somebody. When I was 13, on my cousin's birthday, I was walking out of my auntie's house to go home, and there's two guys fixing a car in front of our neighbor's house, and then a car pulled up or whatever, and he was like, he had his hand out the window telling me to run. So I ran, and by the time I got on the porch, he started shooting at the boys. So they were shooting at each other, and then like I ran in the house and ran in the basement. So. At that moment, I was like terrified because I didn't know I could have got shot or not. And I didn't know that I'd make it to the porch in time because like as soon as I hit the first step, they started shooting. So I was like scared and stuff.
When I was little, my dad killed someone and I was only like 2 or 3. My brother was like 5. So I was devastated, I was terrified. I knew he was gonna go to jail and I would probably never see him again. My overall thoughts of gun violence is like people need to stop killing people over some crazy stuff and have a better world.
It's not unusual to hear guns being fired, say like once every week or two, and you wonder like what's going on, why am I hearing guns? But you hear it so often that unfortunately it's becoming, sadly, but true, like almost normal for my environment.
I mean, to me, it really doesn't bother me, actually. Like, I'm kind of used to it. People, gun violence.
Sexual violence is when you touch someone or have sexual relations with them without their permission.
It's when you take something from somebody.
It's when you take it by force.
When someone get raped.
When one person gets attacked sexually, not willing.
Touching, feeling, putting your hands on people.
It's when someone's tried to take something and someone says no and it becomes violent.
Yes, I have experienced sexual violence. My mom was a police officer with the Detroit Police Department, and part of the day, while she was working, she hired a babysitter to watch me. And this babysitter would have me do inappropriate things of a sexual nature. This was a female babysitter, but yet and still it was inappropriate. And eventually I told my mom about it, and that female babysitter was prosecuted.
A family member raped another family member.
She was about 13. I think it happened like 4 years ago. Not too far from here, so. I mean, it's not good at all. Like, I know if it was me, like, I would be terrified and out of my mind and just, like, it's not right. Like, nobody should ever have to go through something like that. Like, it's not human, and I can't believe, like, people would actually, do things like that. Like, that's just downright wrong. I don't know.
I think a lot of people need to come together and be more friendly towards each other, because I think it's we that hurt each other, not everyone else, and treat everybody like human beings, and then it'll be better.
Try not to resolve conflicts with guns. Like, they just need to talk it out.
People should stand up to violence and, like, call the cops when something happened, or be afraid that the person gonna come and get them.
Violence is bad because, like, some people in the neighborhood, like, they don't understand that people getting killed and they just killing people for no reason. I think that people should speak up to the police and tell them how they feel and tell them why they feel that way.
I think police needs to be more aware of what's happening. Like, police come to scenes too late, like, when stuff is happening. I also think that there needs to be more, like, neighborhood watches for, like, things that go on in life and stuff like that. Violence should not be happening. It is something that a lot of people have to face in this world that they should not be facing. I think violence makes a strain on your, like, well-being and stuff, and it makes you stress more. I think that there should just not be violence at all, and people should do things to, like, stop it from happening.
To stop the violence, I think people need to start speaking out about it. If a crime happens in your neighborhood and you don't have the courage to speak up about it, you're really kind of endorsing the violence. And I know there's this whole thing about no telling, no snitching, but we really gotta really figure out our priorities. If our priority is to have a safe neighborhood, then we need to just squash the snitching thing and start speaking up about it when it happens. I don't like violence. I don't like the feeling of not feeling safe. I think not being able to feel safe in your environment is really threatening the well-being of our community. If you can't feel safe in your own neighborhood and home, that's a terrible standard of living, and we deserve better than that. We deserve to feel safe. So the people that are committing crimes, I'd ask them to think twice about committing crimes as a solution to your problem. Think twice about using a gun to resolve conflict. Think twice about sexual assaults towards a female or a male. Have the patience, have the humanity to respect other people.
We have to come together as a community and, get together with the kids, do things, have fundraisers, things like that. Get together as a community and become one and stop fighting amongst each other, because we're all African American. We have to raise our children in the same neighborhoods, same schools and everything, so we all have to get along and do the same thing, what's right for the children.
I believe if more people would speak up and, not be afraid to talk about it, or, what they call snitching, man, we need to stay out the streets and start getting in those books, y'all need to start focusing on college and, what you really gonna do with your life, because in the end, that's really what's gonna get you where you need to go, your school, believe it or not. Like, I just figured that out on my first year of high school. It's really, something that you need to do. And I know it's hard because I don't like it either, but just think like you're gonna get finished and then that's it. And violence, that's not the answer. Like, it's not the answer. It's not cool. It's not cute. Like it's not something you should do.
The police needs to be more aware of the violence, where the violence around us, like around people, where the violence is happening. People just need to stop killing other people and stop the violence and help our community world to be a better place.